Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to my Mega Blu-ray DC Cinematic and Animated Universe collection. I was just going to go over some of these with you because I thought it was cool, kind of a cool little side plot I could do for you in my Blu-ray collection. So we will just jump right in. Before I do that, though, I want to let you know I will be giving a giveaway at the end of this video. So stay tuned for that. There's going to be a two-part question I'll give you. So prepare yourselves, prepare your souls, that is, for the question, and we will get started now. Let's talk about our first movie. This is Aquaman. I think the movie was done well. I think that the special effects were really good. I had a fun time in this movie. I didn't love the movie, but I thought it was done well. And like I said, special effects were off the hook. Actually, if you can pick up the 4K version of this, it's much better. But this was a fun one, guys. I would give this a 7 out of 10. Next, we have Batman Begins. This is the 4K version. And by the way, all the 4Ks, even if they have a different language on them, they are all region free. So if you happen to pick up a 4K disc in any region, you can play them on your player in the United States. It's not going to be a problem at all. But I just picked up this Batman Begins on 4K because it is one of my favorite Batman movies of all time. I loved it. This is an imported one, but it does work on USA players. That's why I snagged it. It's pretty sweet, guys. I would give this movie an 8 out of 10. Again, one of my favorite with Christian Bale. Really done masterfully and definitely worth a watch. A little bit slow moving, but it builds nicely and it has a cool villain. I love the Scarecrow. So let's talk about our next movie, which is going to be The Dark Knight. I thought that this one was good as well. I kind of like Batman Begins a little bit better, to be honest. I'd probably give this one about a 7.5. But these are both Christopher Nolan films, and they're done really well. And the Joker, of course, with Heath Ledger. He is now deceased, but wow, he did a great job as a Joker. Probably my second favorite Joker so far in any cinematic movie settings. And moving on to our next one, we have The Dark Knight Rises. Of course, the trilogy completes here. I did not like this one as much. I'd probably give it about a 6.5 out of 10. It was good, but not great. The first two are much better, I thought, in my opinion. So a cool pickup, though. If you happen to find the trilogy, I would recommend picking it up. But maybe wait for 4K, because it looks pretty good on 4K. Next is Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, the Ultimate Edition, with the slipcover. And I did not like this movie too much. I thought it was okay. There's two versions of it, a PG-13 and an R-rated version. I think that this one could have been a lot better. It did have Wonder Woman in it for briefly in the end, which actually was probably the best part of the movie. But I would probably give this one about a 5 out of 10. I did not like it very much. Don't recommend it highly for the DC Cinematic Universe movies. Next is probably another one I would only give a 5.5 out of 10 to. Green Lantern. This is the Steelbook version, actually, so it's a really cool, nice version of the movie. But I just didn't really care for this with Ryan Reynolds too much. I didn't think that he played Green Lantern the way I wanted to see Green Lantern portrayed. So if they would redo this one, I think it would be better at this point. So yeah, 5.5 out of 10. Not a great one, but I do own the Steelbook, so that's pretty tight, right? Next we have Justice League. I did like Justice League quite a bit, and a lot of people don't agree with me on this, but I think this was a 7 out of 10. I think it was a really fun movie. It had, a lot of people in it, so it was really entertaining the whole time. I lost my little my little fidget bat spinner there, but I thought I'd show you guys that. So anyway, Justice League, good movie. I liked it. 7 out of 10. A lot of action, a lot of good special effects. It was done really well, and I think most people that like the Justice League would like this movie. Next is Man of Steel. I actually had the lenticular cover of this movie at one point, but I got rid of it because I just don't like the movie. I would probably give this a 5 out of 10. I think it was horrible. The only good Superman movies, as far as I'm concerned, are the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. Everything else they've done has been a failed attempt at greatness. So Man of Steel is just not very good, guys. I don't recommend it for DC lovers. Next we have Shazam, and it was a little bit better. I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10. It was entertaining, very goofy, and kind of, tried to be funny and serious, which it pulled off okay. But it wasn't a fantastic movie, just a good movie, and worth to see if you like the DC universe whatsoever. Next, I'm going to talk about Supergirl. This is kind of a rare one. You don't see this one often on Blu-ray, but this is from the 80s, and Faye Dunaway played in this one along with Helen Slater. This one was excellent, guys. I'd give this an 8 out of 10. I thought it was really well done. It was very reminiscent of the Christopher Reeve Supermans, so definitely worth a watch if you haven't seen Supergirl. Check it out. It's a cool movie. And it's a bit dated for its time, but it's still done really well. Next is Suicide Squad, and I didn't like this one very much either. I'd probably give this one About a 6 out of 10. It was okay. I didn't love it, but Harley Quinn was the one who sold it for me here. She did an amazing job. What's her name? Margot Robbie did an amazing job as Harley Quinn. She was fantastic. But a very dark movie, and I just didn't care for it. It wasn't my thing. Didn't really care for Jared Leto as the Joker. So yeah, I get moving on from this one fairly quickly and not looking back. Next is Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was one of the best DC Cinematic Universe movies they've done so far. I loved it. It's fantastic. I'd probably give this a 9 out of 10. That's how much I liked this one. Definitely worth watching. Definitely one I recommend for pretty much the whole family. It was just excellent all the way around. I hope the sequel's as good as this one. I don't think it will be, but we'll see, and hopefully it is. That's what I got my fingers crossed for. Next, we're going to move into my DC original cinematic universe, original animated cinematic universe, that is. Superman and Doomsday. I do have the slipcover for this one. It's a cool little slipcover. It's not a bad movie. This one I would probably give about a 6.5 to. It was pretty fun, pretty decent movie. And these started in 2007 when these ones came out, and I have every single one from 2007 until the present so far. They're going to have another couple come out soon here, but this is the one that started it all in 2007. So we'll get into our next one now, which is going to be in chronological order. This one came out next. This is the Justice League: The New Frontier. I didn't like this one. Maybe it was the art style, maybe it was the story, but I just didn't like it as much as the other movies in this series. So I would probably give this a 5 out of 10. I really did not like it much. Next was Batman Gotham Knight, and I think the art direction in this was really unique and different. I liked it. It was good. It had a cool story as well. I would give this about a 6 out of 10. It was a fun one, and definitely worth a watch if you like to see abstract Batman type art. I think you would appreciate this one. Next we have Wonder Woman. It seems like Wonder Womans are always done pretty well. This is no exception. The cartoon version was very good. There is another version, a commemorative edition that they released later of this that just includes an extra documentary, I believe. So, but this one is the quintessential. This is the original one. It does have quite a bit of extra features as well, and this is the one where she fights Ares, I believe. So this one's really cool. I really liked this one. This one I would probably give about a 7.5 on. It was done very well, and I do recommend you picking up this one if you like these types of shows. Next is Green Lantern: First Flight, and I do have the green case for that, as you can see right there. So that's a little bit hard to find, not too much, but it does have the slipcover, of course, and it's in great condition. This is the first Green Lantern movie they did so far, and I thought it was okay. I didn't love it. I'd probably give it about 6.5 out of 10, but it was decent. Not as good as the other one I'll talk about in a little bit, but I did like it. It's okay for a Green Lantern movie. Not my favorite though. Next we had Superman, Batman, Public Enemies. I also have the slipcover for that. This one was a little better. I did like it. I would probably give this one about a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10. Let's just settle on a 6.5 out of 10. I thought it was good too. Maybe even a little bit better than the Green Lantern movie. But it was definitely worth seeing, worth having in your collection as well if you're collecting these types of movies. Next is Justice League: Crisis on Two Earths. I really liked this one, guys. This one was excellent. I would probably give this one a 7.5 out of 10. I really liked it. I liked the alternate universe idea, and they pulled it off really well of having polar opposites, and I thought it was done really, really cool. Had some cool jokes in it, had some funny jokes in it. It was just a great all-around animated movie. I do recommend it. It does come with the exclusive short of the Spectre, so that is included in this version. So pick it up, guys, if you like these. Again, this is definitely worth seeing. Next is Batman Under the Red Hood, and I really liked this one too. I thought it was done really well. I'd probably give it a straight 7 out of 10. It does have the extra exclusive short Jonah Hex, which is okay. I'm not a huge fan, but it was okay. So 7 out of 10 on this one, guys. This one was done pretty dang well. Has a bit of a twist in it if you haven't read any of the comics and stuff. And so I like it. It was done really cool. And I do have the slipcover for it, so that's pretty sweet. Next we have Superman, Batman, Apocalypse, and I really liked this one. I'd probably give this one a 7.5 or 8 out of 10. Let's just settle on 8 out of 10. I thought it was really good. I liked the fact that I believe this was the one they brought Supergirl into. And I really liked the way they did that. It was really done masterfully and interestingly enough to keep my interest on the television as I watched, and it was fun. This one was a really good one. The slipcover, of course, looks beautiful on this one as well. So as a presentation and as a movie, it's an 8 out of 10. It was really good, guys. Next we have All-Star Superman, and I love the slipcover for it, except for the artwork. The artwork's not very good on Superman, but this one was okay. I didn't like it a lot. It was just probably a 6 out of 10. It was decent. Yeah, I wouldn't say much more than that, but it was decent and a little bit slow moving, but still okay. And if you collect these and you got to have them all, then it's you got to have it in your collection for sure. Next is the second Green Lantern movie that they did called Emerald Knights, and I really liked this one a lot. This one was my favorite Green Lantern movie so far. It basically, he takes a trainee out to learn the ways of the ring, and as he does, he basically tells a story of how all of the lanterns rose to power. And I really thought that was a cool idea for a movie. So this is definitely one I recommend. Even if you don't like Green Lantern, I think this might spark your interest toward the character a little bit more. But really done well. It was a good one. I'd probably give this one an 8 out of 10. I really liked it a lot. Next we have Batman Year One. Was not a huge fan of this one. It has a great looking slipcover. But the movie itself was not one of my favorites of the series. I might catch a little flack in the comments for that, but it's okay. It's not a great movie. It's just decent. It's probably about a 5.5 out of 10. It does have the Catwoman short in it, so you are getting a little extra there. So I mean, it's worth having. If you're going to collect these, you got to have it anyway. So pick it up if you can. Next we have Justice League Doom, and I thought this one was excellent. I thought it was really good. 7.5 out of 10. It was done really well. And I do recommend this as well. This is a must-have in your collection. The Doom was a great one, guys. So check it out. I do have the slipcover version for it, and we'll get into the next stack now. Okay, stack 2 and go. We have Superman versus the Elite. I really liked this movie, guys. I think it was done excellently. I love the villains in this one. The villains slash vigilantes, I guess you could call them. Really cool movie, guys. It was definitely one worth getting for your collection. One of my favorite Superman ones that I've seen thus far. I would give this probably a 7.5 out of 10. Next we have the Batman The Dark Knight Returns. I do have the slipcover version for that. This is a part 1 of 2. These ones were a bit boring, I'm going to be honest right now. I didn't love these movies. I think that they were, dark enough and cool enough for a Batman story, but they were just a little bit slow for me. I'd probably give them about 5.5 out of 10 on this one here. On the second one, it was just maybe a hair better at about a 6 at the most, but yeah, not a great Batman animated movie. I know a lot of people disagree with that, but I just did not like these ones too much. They were just a little too slow for me. A little too, detective-y for me. But I guess it is what it is, and they weren't bad, but not my cup of tea on these two Dark Knight Returns. Part 2 was a little bit better, but not quite as good. Next, we're going to talk about Superman Unbound, and I did like this one. I thought it was good. I didn't love it, but I did think it was good. I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. Again, it's one of the ones that you need in your collection if you're going to collect all of the animated movies from 2007 to present. So next we were going to talk about Justice League and the Flashpoint Paradox. And this one was a lot of people's favorite, and it's actually one of my least favorite of the Justice League movies. But I still think it's cool. It had a good story, and it had a good idea, and it did some things that I didn't expect it to. So it was good in that respect. And so I do like this one, and I would probably give it about a 6.5, but I didn't love this one like everyone else seems to. Moving on to the next one, I do have the Steelbook version, and this is my favorite of all the Justice League movies so far in this universe. Justice League War was awesome. It's almost like an origin story for Cyborg, and it shows them fighting Darkseid, which is really cool. I love the Steelbook version. It's such a cool set to have, guys. So I'm really proud and happy that I have this one. Boy, this little fidget spinner don't want to stay up, so let's just lay it down. And I think this movie was just one of the best ones for sure in the whole series. This is an 8 out of 10. I loved it. Next is Son of Batman. This one was good too. I liked it and enjoyed it. A little bit dark and violent, which was actually really good. I introduced the Court of the Owls, not the Court of the Owls, Deathstroke, and I think the Court of the Owls was in this one as well. But it was really good. I like this one a lot. I would recommend it for anyone who likes Batman stuff at all. I would give this a 7 out of 10. Next, we have another steelbook called Assault on Arkham, and this one was fun too. I liked it. The style of art wasn't my favorite, but was still a good movie in itself. So I'd probably give this one a 7 out of 10 as well. It was pretty good, and Steelbook version is just sick. We all can agree on that, I'm sure. So next we're going to talk about the next one in the lot, chronologically, is Justice League Throne of Atlantis. Not as good as War, but this is the direct sequel to War. It was still decent, but not as good. Not as good as War. I'd probably give this one about a 6.5 out of 10. Wasn't one of my favorites, but wasn't bad either. It was a pretty decent watch. Next we have Batman versus Robin, and this one was really, really good. This is the one that introduces the Court of the Owls. I apologize. There's Talon on the back. This one was really, really good, guys. This one is definitely worth seeing for sure. I would give this a 7.5 out of 10. It was just extremely entertaining, very dark too at the same time. It was just done so well. I recommend this one highly. Even if you're not collecting all of them, get this one, and I think you'll enjoy it. Okay, next we'll talk about Justice League Gods and Monsters. This was an okay film. The art style was a little bit different, and I did like it, but I didn't love it. I thought it was an okay movie. I'd probably give it a 6.5 out of 10. I did appreciate it, and if you collect these, then this is an okay one to have in your collection for sure. Next we have Batman Bad Blood. This one I wasn't a huge fan of either. I think it was okay, just like the other one, probably a 6.5 out of 10. I'm just not a big fan of this one. It's just didn't feel right to me. Something was a little bit off with this one. It had some okay ideas, but just not executed as well as I thought it should have been. Next, we'll talk about the Justice League versus the Teen Titans. So this one is a fun one. I really like this one a lot. It does have Raven fighting her father in this one, which is really cool. This one was done really well. I think it was a great one to the series. This was a 7.5 out of 10 for sure. Next, we're going to talk about Batman: The Killing Joke. This one was a bit of a letdown for me. I was really wanting to see a better movie than I saw here, but I believe this is the first one of the chronological movies that was rated R. I think this is the first one. So, but yeah, this one's not fantastic, not one of my faves by any means. I like the fact that Mark Hamill did the Joker's voice, but other than that, it just wasn't a sell for me at all. I'd probably give this one about a 5.5 out of 10. Next, we're going to talk about Justice League Dark, and this took a dark path, as the title suggests. It was also rated R, and it was kind of one of those strange ones. I couldn't really get into this one as much. I think it was a little slow moving. Just wasn't quite what I wanted to see out of a DC movie. However, I'll talk about its sequel here soon, and it was much better. But I would give this one probably a 5.5 out of 10 as well. And it's just not a huge fan of this one. Next, we have Teen Titans: The Judas Contract, and this one was done really well. I liked this one a lot. Teen Titans movies are kind of few and far between here in the series. You don't see a lot of them, but the couple that you do are done very well. And this one was a great one too. This would probably give a 7 out of 10. It was really, the Judas Contract was a really good one. Definitely worth a pickup. Next, we have Batman and Harley Quinn, which is part of a different universe that we will talk about here in just a moment. But there you go. And yeah, this was a pretty good movie, actually. It was decent. I liked it. I'd probably give it about a 7 out of 10. The animation was pretty cool in this one. I like the classic Harley Quinn look. And the classic Poison Ivy look, as you can see there, is pretty nice. I do like those. So, decent movie on that one. This next one is Batman Gotham by Gaslight. Another one that's very original. It's like a Jack the Ripper, versus Batman type of thing. So that's what you're getting. It's a little bit dark. It's also rated R. It's a dark movie. It's a strange one. Not sure I loved it or anything. I think I liked it. I'd probably give it about a 6 out of 10. But it's not one of the ones that I'd run out and buy first in this series. So, be cautious with how you're spending money on this series. If you happen to get it in a lot it's cheap or something, then it's worth it. But other than that, I wouldn't go get it first on these ones. So next we have Suicide Squad: Hell to Pay. Again, another one I wasn't extremely impressed with. It had some good moments and some dark moments. It's another R-rated one. But I just wasn't a huge fan. It was okay. I like Suicide Squad just a little bit, not a lot. This is the 4K version, by the way, too. But yeah, it's an okay movie. I'd probably give this one about a 6.5 out of 10. It's worth seeing, but not worth running out and buying, just like the other one. Next, we have The Death of Superman. This one was fun. I liked it. I would probably give this a 6.5 out of 10 as well. Not an extremely huge fan of it, but it was still cool. And I kind of saw the story already in Superman versus Doomsday in that first movie I showed you. So I mean, yeah, it's cool, and it was redone a little better, I think, but 6.5 out of 10. I mean, I wasn't a huge fan. I'm just kind of sick of the Death of Superman, I guess. I used to have the comics and I used to read them all the time. So yeah, forget it. Not too into that one. Next is Reign of the Superman, and I like the direction they went here with this one. I thought it was cool and different. And it's cool that when it went from the Death of Superman right into the Reign of Superman. I thought that was neat that they did that. So this one's fun. I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. I don't love it, but I think that it's great. I think that it's great for what it is. So worth the pickup for sure. Next we have Justice League and the Fatal Five, which is also part of a kind of a different universe here, but we'll talk about that in just a moment when I get to the first movie in this series. But the Justice League versus the Fatal Five was a pretty good movie. It was different from the rest in a lot of ways, animation-wise and story-wise. And so I guess I was a little intrigued because it was something new. So I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I don't love it, but I think it was good. And worth your time. If you're a big fan of the Justice League, you'd probably like that. So next one we have is Batman Hush, and I did like this one. quite a bit. It kind of grew on me. It's one of the slower ones, but it really grew on me. And I like the fact that Jim Lee is the artist for the Hush series. I met Jim Lee a couple times at a Comic-Con, and he was a great guy, a lot of fun. Got his signature on a couple things. I already sold the comics, but he was a really cool, just accommodating artist, and he sat there and talked to us forever, and we got pictures with him. In fact, I might try to look for the pictures and post it. So if I have a picture, I'm going to post it now. And there you go. So if it wasn't there, then that's because I couldn't find it. But anyway, pretty cool. Batman Hush was a good story. I liked it. The artwork was awesome. I love Jim Lee's artwork. So moving on, this is going to be probably about 7 out of 10. Next, we had a Wonder Woman movie that was called Bloodlines. And this is the first Wonder Woman movie that I thought that they kind of dropped the ball on a bit. I didn't love this one. I think it would deserve about a 6 out of 10. But I wasn't a huge fan of this one. The other ones are definitely better. The other Wonder Woman adaptations are way better. This is the 4K version. I did pick this up in a lot of movies, so that's why I have this version. But it's pretty fun still. I mean, it's worth a watch. Not amazing, but worth a watch. Next we have in the series chronologically is going to be Superman Red Sun, and this is kind of the stories that if Superman would have crashed in the USSR, what would have happened. So that's kind of what the story is about, which is unique. It was definitely unique. Not my cup of tea 100%. I thought it was good, but I didn't think it was great. I'd probably give this about a 6.5 out of 10. I think it was pretty good, but not amazing. I guess I'm just kind of used to seeing Superman look like an American, right? So next we have Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. And this is the one I was talking about earlier. I thought this one was done really, really well. This is one of my favorites new animated DC movies. I just watched it recently, and it was fabulous, guys. It's really a good follow-up to the first Dark, which was not that good. This one definitely redeemed the series for me, the Dark series for me, and I loved it. It was great. I would give this an 8 out of 10. Fantastic all the way around. Next, we're going to kind of talk about the side movies that I have that are not in the universe, the animated original universe. This one is called Constantine, City of Demons, and I just watched this, and it was okay. It wasn't a great movie, but it was still okay, and took risks, so I did like that. Pretty cool, though. I mean, for the most part, I'd probably give it a 6.5 out of 10. I wasn't a huge fan. I guess I'm just not a huge fan of Constantine in general, but yeah, it was okay and worth seeing, I guess, if you want to spend 10 to 12 bucks on it. That's, I believe, what I paid for this one. Pretty cool. I'm not even sure where the timeline is with this one. I'd have to look it up to be sure, so I can't really tell you for sure on this, but Constantine City of Demons is an interesting side movie, I would say. Not a bad one. Next we have Batman Mask of the Phantasm. I do like this one quite a bit. This one's a classic as far as I'm concerned. And there's other movies that are tied to this one, which I'll talk about here as well. So one of them is Batman Beyond, which I do have in the stack. We'll get to that in a sec. The other one is Batman versus Mr. Freeze. I believe that is one of the other ones. And then we also have, let's see here, let me think. Batman and Harley Quinn is part of the series. I'm trying to think of all the ones. There's Batman and Mystery of the Catwoman. That's another one. There's quite a few, and I'm trying to remember. There's one more that's tied into this series here. So not really part of the DC animated universe that we went over already, but really fun movie. I like this one a lot. I would give this one about a 7.5 out of 10. It was really done well, and just a really fun Batman movie. I really liked it a lot. Next we have Batman Ninja. Again, out of the universe, different type of art style altogether. I really liked the art style in this one. The story was okay. I didn't love the story, but it was okay. But I loved the artwork. I thought the artwork was done fantastically. I would probably give this one a 7 out of 10. It was actually pretty entertaining for the most part. Next we have Batman vs. Joker, or Batman Beyond, I'm sorry, which is part of the Batman and the Mask of the Phantasm series. It's tied into that one. So this one was really good, guys. It's a classic. It's hard to find. I think this one's actually out of print now. So this one is one you want to get if you're a collector, for sure. It's definitely a good one to have in your collection. I would give this a 7 out of 10. I liked it quite a bit. Next is Superman vs. Shazam and Return of Black Adam. Superman and Shazam, Return of Black Adam. This one was cool. It's only like a 30-minute short, but it's pretty good, and it's definitely worth seeing. I would probably give it, for being such a short one, probably about a 7 out of 10 for the length. If they would have had more content, it might have been even a better score, but it was a fun watch, and I was really surprised by this one. I didn't think I'd like it that much. Ended up liking it quite a bit. So next we have, this one is the Batman and the Return of the Caped Crusaders. This takes you back to the original Batman days with Adam West and Burt Ward, I believe, was the Robin. So this one actually was voiced by Adam West, so definitely one you should see if you're a fan of the old Batman. You got the old artwork for the characters there with the Penguin, Riddler, and Batwoman and the Joker. Really cool, and I think the original voice people who did the voices for these guys were actually in it too. So this is a really cool little set just for a nostalgic pickup for those that like the older Batman style. And then the last one that came in that they made was the Batman versus Two-Face, and this was the last one that Adam West was actually in before he passed away. So it was kind of a sad ending to a cool series that I think everybody appreciates and will remember for a long time. But this is a pretty fun movie. The other one I would have probably given about a 6.5 on. This one probably about a 6.5 as well. But yeah, they're fun movies, guys. They're definitely worth your time if you like the old style Batman and the old style, cheesy fights they get into. Next we have our last one here that we're going to talk about, and it's the lenticular cover of The Necessary Evil, Supervillains of DC Comics. This is actually a documentary, and it talks about the bad guys in DC, which, I'm all about. I love the bad guys. It talks about everyone. There's Black Adam, Black Manta, Bane, Wendigo, I believe, and then Deathstroke. So lots of good stuff about kind of their origins and some of the artwork. And it goes over some really cool stuff. It talks to the art. It lets you see the artist and meet them pretty much as well. That's a fun little watch. It's probably not an amazing thing that I say you have to own, but the lenticular cover is cool enough. I would probably give this a 6 out of 10 just for the novelty of it all. And that brings us to the end of our reviews here and the end of our collections videos. But we will talk about now that we do have a movie we're going to be giving you away today, and it's going to be a 2-part trivia question that I'll talk to you about right now. So the question is as follows. In all the movies you've seen here in my animated DC Universe movies, the first part of this question, I'd like you to tell me in the comments, which is the first movie that introduced the New 52 line? If you can tell me that, along with another question, which is the first movie after that movie that kind of went on its own and did its own thing and wasn't even part of the New 52. Tell me the first movie that was in chronological order after the first answer, and I will give you this movie here. Batman Begins, one of my favorite Batman movies, probably my second favorite Batman movie of all time, next to Batman Returns. I really liked Batman Returns with Michael Keaton, but this one is fantastic. It was done, the acting was amazing. The story that led up to him being Batman was really deep and dark, and it was awesome, and it just really made you see Batman in a new light. This movie did. And again, a film by Christopher Nolan. It's a little bit slow, so you got to stick with it, but it is definitely one you must own in your collection. So if you don't have it, please answer my question in the comments below, and I will send you this free of charge. I'll give you my email address and get this to you right away. And guys, thanks again for watching. I really appreciate you all. Next, we're going to probably tackle my Marvel collection, either that or my Disney. Maybe we'll mix it up and do Disney next, and then after Disney, we'll get into my Marvel collection a bit. After that, there's just a few kids selections as well, but other than that, that'll pretty much sum up my Blu-ray collection. I may be doing some more types of videos like this in the future, like an update video soon, where I will let you know which new movies I've acquired in the last month or so. So we'll plan on doing that. I do thank you all for watching again, and peace out.